everybody, it's Tessie
and Charles.
and we're shooting our first episode of Love and Law. So we're very excited to kind of share our journey, talk about how we met.
The goods, the bads, the highs, the lows.
Building a brand together, opening a firm together, blending families, all that kind of jazz. So I guess we just get right into it. I think the first thing that people want to know about us, or a lot of questions that we get asked all the time, is how we actually met. And of course, there's three different versions, mine, his, and the truth.
So the truth is, we met at the local law school at IUPUI in Indianapolis. Coincidentally, I had a high school track meet that day. And in the middle of stretching, beautiful young lady walked by me and I was like, "Hey, how are you?" She said, "What are all y'all doing here?" I said, "It's a track meet. You should stay and watch. I'm getting ready to run." And she was like, "I'm not really interested." I said, "Well, you're about to see something interesting, so you should take a moment to watch." I said, "Oh, little boy, I'm sorry. I'm grown. I'm in college." I said, "That's okay. I'm legal." So she went. True. It is so true. And her favorite color is purple, by the way. Same color as my purple track shorts. But while I was stretching it caught her eye. And she struck up a conversation. And from there, I said, "Well, you should stay and watch." And she said, "Well, I have to get to where I'm going. So I'll see you maybe the next time." And years later, we met at a party. And she said, "You look so familiar." And I said, "You do too." And said, "I don't know, where do I know you from? Are you from here?" She said, "No, Indianapolis. The purple track shorts." And we kind of kicked it off from there.
Okay, so then there's a real version. And in the real version, Charles and I met here in Atlanta, and we met at a friend having a spades party and a football party. And I was visiting my sister, he was visiting some friends. And as we started talking that night, we realized that we both had moved to Atlanta from Indianapolis. In Indianapolis, it is true that we lived within 5 miles of each other. We knew multiple people. His best friend from like junior high went to law school with me. His mother taught at my school, and we just never crossed paths until we were here in Atlanta. And at the time that I met him, we were both freshly out of relationships. I was actually going through a divorce, and he had just recently broke up with his fiance. And so we were both separated like a few months into a separation, and that's actually how we met. And we started as friends and went to a relationship. I think we dated for maybe 11, 12 months and got married. And that was that.
But during that conversation, she realized that track meet that we had prior years ago, that she remembered me. The familiarity it brought something over.
You know what's so crazy is there are people all around the world. Literally, there are people that we have met in Mexico, Germany, in Italy, all over the world, that people will ask that question, when you're talking, like, how'd you meet? And this is the version he gives them. I'm 8 years older than Charles. So Charles loves to tell people that, I met him his senior year of high school, and I was in college and law school. And I was like, oh, I can't wait to get older.
I was a high school graduate, actually.
Well, see, I don't know because I didn't know him.
We didn't get that far into the conversation. I didn't tell her I graduated the same day as the track meet. And then that day when I met her at the party, we started putting a lot more of it together. And like I said, "Isn't your favorite color purple? You had told me that night." She was like, "It is." I said, "I'm here. I'm him."
Okay. So moving forward, we dated for about 11 months, 12 months, and got married. It was very interesting the day that we got married. Like, we literally woke up that day, got the kids off to school, and it was kind of one of those, "What do you want to do today?" And it was like, "Oh, we should get married today." But the interesting question is, who made that comment, "We should get married today"? Did you say that or did I say that?
I think I said it. It was the way that the sunlight was coming in on the window, and she was sleeping so energetically on the pillow. Like, I was like, I want to marry her. So when she woke up, I said, "You know what? We should get married today."
And my crazy ass response truly was, "Today's a good day for that. We could do that." And we literally went to the courthouse, got married. We didn't have rings, anything. We just decided to get married. But we had talked about it jokingly once or twice.
When you're dating, that's a common conversation of, what do you want in
that's
life?
Kind of for everybody.
What are your expectations? Well, if we got married, we would do this. Or what if you won the lottery? Well, we would have to get married because we're going to have to share the money, and I'm not splitting it. So it kind of was some of those random questions. So that day it was, I guess, came to fruition.
Yeah, and we went to the courthouse got married, and then shopped for rings like a week or two or something later. But we text friends and said, hey, we got married. Some of my friends were like, to who? They had not even met you because they, lived out of state. And I had already met his mom. He had met my mom. But again, it was 11 months, 12 months at the max from, hi, I'm Tessie to where I am now, Miss Edwards. And that's been, this year will be our 18-year anniversary in November. 18 years married, about almost 19 years together. So then I think one of the more routinely asked questions about us and our journey is, how do we start a law firm?
That was interesting. That kind of started on a whim. We were, between jobs? You had just left the DA's office.
Mm-hmm.
And
so I was a prosecutor in Clayton County here in Georgia. Well, I went to law school in Indiana and moved to Georgia immediately after graduation and took the bar here and passed. And my first real serious job was I was a prosecutor in Clayton County at the solicitor's office. And from there I went to Fulton County. I didn't care for the then DA and I ended up resigning there. And I worked for another firm for a couple of weeks, maybe a month at the most.
But hold on, let's rewind. Because while you were at Clayton County, Fulton County, she was kicking butt. She was taking names, and I would come watch all the trials for some of those attorneys. That's why I saw you get whooped. I watched you in court get your butt whooped. But very successful in Clayton County. Got promoted to Fulton County, where I watched more butt whoopings, and left Fulton County because you wasn't happy with the way that things were running. And I guess the next step was a private law firm?
It was, but that up until probably 2 or 3 years ago, every trial that I've ever had, I'm talking about a jury trial, every single trial, whether I was a prosecutor, whether it was criminal defense or even family law, those weren't jury, but most of my trials, you would come and watch. All of my trials, Charles would come. And I remember the first time that he missed a trial, I was in Douglas County, and because he couldn't stay for the trial, he went and bought me flowers and put them in my driver's seat with this really, really sweet, note saying that he was sorry that he was going to miss my trial, but you got this and that type of thing. So he's always been there with me in that regard. But when I left the DA's office in Fulton County, I went to work for a small firm, and it was kind of remarkable how unorganized it was. And I had no experience doing most of the things that they gave me a file to do. And one time I remember specifically, it was like, here's a name change. And I was like, I've never done a name change. And her response was, you'll figure it out. And she walked out and just handed me this file to legally change someone's name. And here's a divorce. And I was like, oh, snap. What am I going to do? And it was literally, that's what taught me how resourceful, showed me how resourceful I was to ask questions, lean on friends, lean on people, literally ask clerks, research, all of that. And so when I was there with that firm for less than 60 days, I left. She said something kind of disrespectful.
I got stuck in a snowstorm in New York.
And I told her I need to leave to go meet my husband. I think he had caught a flight to Charlotte or somewhere, and I was going to go pick him up. And she made some kind of distasteful comment about me being whipped. And that's why I was going to go get him. And I didn't think it was cute at all. So let me excuse myself before I come out of my character. And I left. And I realized that it was probably a me problem. If I left Fulton because I didn't like them, and I left this firm because I didn't like them. And Charles said, well, if you did that for her, you can do it for yourself. Why don't you just open up a firm? That was literally my first time ever thinking about opening a law firm. When I went to law school, I had every intention on becoming a judge. That's what I wanted to do. That's literally what I wanted to do. And he said, if you're willing to do it, I will do it with you. And at the time, you were at Verizon, and he left Verizon, and we opened up a firm.
Yeah, but it was rough at that time.
It was a hustle.
We were between cars. We had one car, one who got repossessed Came and got it.
Mm-hmm.
So we were sharing the car. She would take me to work, go to court.
House was in foreclosure.
It was a hot mess.
The hustle was so real. We were meeting clients.
Starbucks and Barnes and Nobles. That was the spot.
Or we would meet them at the law library at court when we had a little
one-stop shop.
The little portable printer and everything in the trunk of our car. Like, we were really hustling. We had a little. We stopped at Office Depot and had a little receipt book. We write out our little receipts. Like, when I tell you everything we have now, we got it out the mud. Like, hustle all the way from the bottom. But when we did that for a few months, and then
I got a settlement check. I got in a car accident, and at that time,
prior to meeting me,
you always get what you need when you need it, not when you want it. So it was one of those situations. She said, "Well, what are we gonna do?" I had an M3. I had it all picked out. It was nice. Meanwhile, we had said foreclosure and car repossessed, but we was gonna do what most people do and waste the money. And then it kind of came to me, well, I'd rather invest the money in us or invest the money in you. If it works out, great. If it doesn't, I mean, we tried. So had no idea. I said, well, I'm gonna get some advertising. So this was back when we had a phone book and yellow pages.
But the thing was, the interesting thing was, we found a office, like a brick and mortar, like an office, and he paid for the first year of rent. And we went shopping and found what we thought was official, like, grown up law firm furniture. And he paid for that 1 year of advertising in the yellow pages. But I remember, because you had hurt your back and it was literally your money, and I appreciated you investing and believing in me and in us. But I was like, you got to do something for yourself. And you bought yourself that watch. Mm-hmm. You still have the watch. Mm-hmm. He bought himself a tag, and it was such a huge purchase. He bought is it Tag Heuser? Is that how you say it?
Tag Heuer.
Okay.
Whatever.
But he bought himself that watch, and I just thought that was so sweet and necessary for you to do something for you, not just put it all in the business.
We did a couple things. We did something for you, our parents. I think we did something for the kids, random. It might have been.
I think we took them to Universal.
Something.
But the biggest part of it went to opening up a firm.
Bought a car. we bought a car too. Went to the auction like, okay, well, we got to add something nice. Because that little Honda that had the stickers and the beat up bumpers, he was meeting clients in, and one day said something about her car. Your attorney can't be good because she's driving around in Honda. Ooh, that thing was mad.
I was very mad. But, it was so crazy, because just a testament to how much we have grown and developed. Even then, not knowing what I know now, I knew that you had to look the image, and you had to believe in where you wanted to be even before you got there. And so, wanting to look successful and be successful, let's get a firm, let's get the office to look like we are already successful attorneys, and let's go get a car, because what we got from the auction was a BMW. Like, I already know this is where I'm going, so let me get a head start on the game. So we had to really, way before manifest was everybody's favorite word, put it into the universe that that's where we were going to be, and take that leap out there on our own. And so for the first 4.5 years, it was Charles and I back to back
that was
building a firm.
But being a newly married couple, and sometimes, I guess, learning how to let my wife take the lead, we would argue about trivial stuff. I'm like, okay, I'm putting this in the envelope, and these three things. Well, you got to do it A, B, C. But if I do it B, C, A, and it's still in the envelope, it doesn't matter. No, yes, it does. Listen, doesn't matter how I print these off of the printer, as long as I have the 3 copies in the envelope. So we arguing literally.
But some of that stuff does matter. If you're mailing out the rent check, it doesn't matter. But what I was talking about is how you send stuff to certain judges, and that you don't know, because my name is on these documents. And when we go to court, the judge don't know Charles put it on there. They don't want to hear that. I'm the one in front of the judge getting cursed out. I'm the one that the clients love to write about in the Google review. So yes, it mattered to me that it wasn't just done. If it's supposed to say ABC, don't just do CBA and say good enough. That's not going to work. As you can see, we are at the opposite spectrums when it comes to I'm a very driven person, very focused person, and Charles is the calm, laid back one. And I'm the whole hot mess over here owning it. But if things need to be done right, then let's do it right. If it's in your ability to do it right, let's do it right. And not just good enough is good enough.
Hey, fellas, it's Charles again with TDE, Family Law and Divorce Attorneys. I just wanted to give you a little bit of information, tell you what we're here to do, but I understand that you're probably looking at this because you're going through some type of situation that we can assist you with, whether it's your baby mom, whether it's your soon-to-be ex-wife, whether it may be just a parenting thing that you're going to help another family member with out. It's trying, it's stressful. This is a marathon, not a sprint, so nothing's going to happen quickly. The other thing that I want to point out to you is we're here as a resource. Whether you watch our social media ads, whether you tune into our podcast, you can like and subscribe, but hopefully from watching this, there's going to be more information that you can get. One way that you can get one of those resources is just by calling our office. We have people that are there to answer the phones, and they may be able to point you in the right direction. I know that you may have friends or buddies that have went through the court system and you're like, I'm absolutely against child support, but your child may be used as a pawn, or maybe your kindness is being taken as hostage. I'm here to tell you that me and our group of attorneys with a greatly skilled team are here to help you. Look us up on the website, and then from there you can schedule a call. Yes, sometimes these things can be expensive, but anything that you feel is worth it, you always find a way. And if you find your way to our law firm, we are here to help you through it. So that was a whole adjustment in itself. And then I guess from there we worked together for about, like you said, 4 years. And then due to my immaturity and needing to learn this role of a husband and a coworker and being a father, I said, you know what? I'm going to go work at the fire department. She told me one day, well, you can work somewhere else. Okay, fine then. I will. So I went and went to the fire department. She's like, you got a job at the fire department? Yeah, they hired me, babe. So it was...
It did not quite go that way.
How'd it go?
But when we were talking about this, and so the reality is when we were talking, when we got married, I had 5 children and Charles had a daughter, and he insisted on attempting to have a child. He wanted a son, a biological son. And I felt like as his wife, I'm the only woman on the planet that should be able to give him a child, and he wanted a son. And so as we were going by, and he lost his father at 12, he is a junior, and he wanted to carry on that legacy of his father, which is everything I live and breathe is legacy. And so he wanted to. And so we needed insurance, being entrepreneurs and small business owners. We did not have good insurance. We had the worst crap off market insurance. And I didn't feel like it was strong enough to go through a pregnancy and to go through having a newborn baby. And so we decided to.
So we got tubes untied first.
Well, I know. Yeah, that's true. We
got tubes untied. And then that's when I realized that insurance that we had, some of the fine print said you had to have it for a year before they would even do prenatal. So it was, what do you mean? So meanwhile, we trying to have this kid, and we got tubes untied, and we thought we had insurance, but we didn't have insurance. So along with more that I had left out, the child and just, again, the immaturity, well, I'll go to the fire department.
Yeah, for me, it wasn't an immaturity. I had adjusted to the immaturity part, and the arguing and bickering didn't bother me. But I was very, yeah, I know. But it was, for me, I thought it was a good decision for you to go. Not that it was my decision to make, I know, but I just thought it was a good decision for you to go somewhere where we could have better benefits, insurance benefits, because we were starting this journey to have a child, and I literally untied my tubes, and then we ended up doing in vitro, and we'll talk about that journey a lot more in detail later. But while you were at the fire department for 10 years, the schedule at the fire department was
24 on, 48 off.
And so during those 48 off, there was a lot of times that he would still help with the firm for those, during that time when he was there. And even if he was at work and I have a technical issue, which I am so not tech savvy.
Not tech savvy at all. That was some of
At
the
all.
thing that when we first met, going back to that, when she said, I need help, I need directions to get to the highway. And I'm sitting here like,
That's not tech savvy. That's just, I'm directionally challenged as
that
well.
too. When she said it, I was just like, okay. And meanwhile, we'll rewind. She had a ring on her finger. So I was kind of like, okay, well, you make a left, make a right, and then you go ahead and keep going. So, okay. And then she stopped and said, but what happens if I get lost or you drive too fast? Well, look, give me your number so I can, is that not what happened?
It is. I'm just saying the shorter version of it is I got his number just because I really do get lost a lot still.
She
20 years in Georgia, and I literally would have to turn on my GPS to get from my house to Gwinnett County Courthouse. And I've been going there for literally for 16 years. But I was following him, and I asked him for his number so that if I got lost, he could direct me back to where I was going.
And then fast forward 10 years later, I'm still helping with the tech and the directions, and I do most of the driving.
Mm-hmm.
So she would call me at work and say, hey, I need you to fix this. And I'm trying to walk her through, and she's already anxious just because she's saying, okay, look, I don't see that button right there. Babe, it's this and it's that. So we had that experience of still trying to 24 on, 48 off, help you with the office and come in and on my off days and try to fix little things. And sometimes I was an IT guy. So,
well, somewhere during that process, we have experienced all the ups and downs of marriage. Literally the life, birth, better, worse, rich or poor, good and bad, and we did that blending families. We did that building a brand, building a business, starting from opening our firm and literally sharing a car, driving all over, to now being the owners of a multi-million-dollar law firm here in Atlanta. And so what we want to share with you guys is a lot of the truths, like the real nitty-gritty, raw truths of who we are, how we got here, and our journeys with marriage, our journeys with raising children, blending families. For me, in vitro fertilization. For us,
my perspective,
which was
how the high and the low of that in vitro fertilization was, with making sure you had the money for it and still trying to work and raise children and dogs and pets and family members that had their emergencies and still trying to be there for them.
The work-life balance of doing all of this with a large family, because now we have 7 children. We've gotten custody of our 2 youngest granddaughters, permanent full custody of them. They're now 1 and 2. We've had them for about 2 years now. And well, we got one at 6 months. Next year we got another one when she was 6 months. And so we're starting all over again and still running a firm, roughly 20 employees. So just a lot of our journey of our experience on how we've gotten from there to here. Again, the work-life balance part, trying to manage that, growing a brand, entrepreneurs, some of the good, bad, and ugly of even what we've done on our journey to get here, the vacations, the trips around the world, and just a lot of our story and how we got here.
So here we are, bring a little bit of our life to you.
Hopefully, you guys, if there's something you guys want to talk about too, just let us know. We'd be sure to read the messages, the comments. We love all the support that we get on social media. And so if there's something that you guys want to talk about or want us to share or want to know our version of it, because again, there's 10 million versions of it. We're just sharing ours. So it's not the holy grail of everything. It's just Tessie and Charles sharing our life with you about entrepreneurship, about our life. One of the things that I talk about a lot, which is going to be huge for me, because I really, truly want to talk about the law part of what we do. Mm-hmm. And we have a family law firm and a criminal defense firm. And I have been doing criminal defense longer than family law, but I've been doing family law for roughly 15, 16 years. And we have a team of excellent attorneys. And you know, the biggest thing about it is that I truly understand from a very serious perspective how important what we do is. and not just going through a divorce. And I debate with people on social media back and forth. And it's one of the reasons why I wanted to do the podcast, so I can have a longer, more intimate conversation. I don't take it lightly what we do and how seriously it impacts people's lives, because I do believe in that old Indian and African belief that what you do now affects your family and your legacy for 7 generations to come. The person you are is largely dependent upon the environment, your village, who raised you, who poured into you, and who didn't. And so we know that what we do as family law attorneys, as criminal defense attorneys, when we're supporting you and your family, we understand what that means, not just for you, but for your grandchildren's grandchildren. And me, coming from a big family, I have 5 sisters, 5 brothers. My mother's the oldest of 10. My dad is in a mix of a lot of children. I think it was 11 of them. I didn't grow up with my father. And as someone who will be 52 in less than 2 weeks from now, it still affects the woman that I am now. And I just got to the point where I can talk about my dad and the lack in that relationship without getting teared up. I've literally just gotten to that point within probably the last year. And as I talk about it now, I feel myself welling up. But I understand how serious that is for people to have their family and their children around, and to have the access to your kids if that's what you want. And so we will fight for you until, if it's what you want, it's your family. We'll fight for you if that's what you want. So it's very important to me. And I say all that because I myself was a teen mom. I was 15 and pregnant. And at 18, I had 2 kids. By the time I was 18 years old, I dropped out of high school, got a GED. And so everything that I've done and where I am came from where I started. Charles has his journey too, of course. But I just want people to be inspired and understand truly that it is a journey. It's not a sprint. And it's not how you start. There's so many things that you go through in this life. But as long as you have people around you that's willing to go through the good, bad, and the ugly with you, and you're going on that journey together, literally from eating out of the garbage can to $1 million home, I'm here. And just sharing that with you from then till now.
Yeah, I guess to piggyback on that, I support any and everything that she does.
That's the love part.
I guess that's the love part. The losing my dad early on, there's the getting over that, and I guess to fast forward to when I had a child, some of what initiated or sparked our first conversation was how to be an involved parent. And a lot of men sometimes feel like, I've seen these horror stories of my buddy went to court and they taken half his check or his whole check, they done locked him up, and you hear the negative side, but also the side that's always left out is they didn't educate themselves. They didn't get an attorney, but if this is, you find a way for whatever's important to you. So at any point in time when I do some of the consultations at the office, I'm not an attorney, but I will give them my point of view of, the first step is you contacting an attorney, and then some of the stereotypes and things that you've heard of, hey, I'm going to court, I'm getting locked up, she's going to take everything, it's one-sided, the women always get what they want. They get what they want if you didn't even put up a fight. So, from my place, I'm here hopefully to educate some of those fathers that want to be involved, that you've had those negative stories, and not every client is for us, but I can still hopefully give you some information that's going to help you with that journey so you can be that dad that you want to be. That's the reason why with helping her that I do this too. Regardless, I always want to see people win. I'm not the type of person that, he won this and I'm hating on the side like, well, you don't know how he got it. I don't care how he got it. You got it. You're there. You won. Go for it. If you want to be that dad, if there's a way that I can help you or we can help you or our firm can help you, I'm all for it. So that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this.
I think the parent part is important. I think the marriage part is important. Anybody that's been married, 18 years, they've been through some things. And so just advice on me. I've had to learn. I have had to learn as much as you've had to learn. It's been different than what you had to learn, but there's a lot to learn on my side, and it doesn't change because I'm 8 years older.
And the role switch, because sometimes she's the calming, you can't do that. That's not going to work. Don't do that. Listen, Charles, you can't behave that way. That you need to think about the end goal, the long term of what this one decision, how it's going to affect you in the long run. Yeah. So without her, I'm not a perfect parent. We all make mistakes. You practice medicine, you practice parenting. And when they're grown up, then you realize, I could have did this different.
But I'm saying not even just the parenting. It's not just the parenting. It's the parenting, the marriage, the business, just always leaning on each other to figure it out somewhere in the middle. And
having a good that person for me to help me through it, that when she says it makes sense, even if I don't agree with it.
Or listen to years later.
Sometimes she was talking too loud, but I understand.
Okay. Well, we hope you guys tune in, subscribe, like, follow, and share our journey with us as we take you through how we got from there to love and law.
And for any of those questions that you might have, you can post them on any of the social media platforms. We do try to track those regularly. So if there is a question specifically pertaining to Georgia, we definitely can answer those for you.
Or it's just a topic you want to talk about.